also, what is the future for people that want to move to the United States from here in Ghana and also other parts of the world? So let's just get into my guest for today, and I would start with you. Would you please introduce yourself, your name, and a little bit more about what you do, the organization you work with, and all that?
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm super excited to be here.
We're excited to have you too.
Thank you so much for inviting us. So my name is Nana Jumfi. I am the executive director of an organization called the Black Alliance for Just Immigration, also known as BAJI. BAJI is an organization that was started in 2006 by civil rights leaders, human rights leaders, anti-apartheid leaders to address the issues dealing with Blackness and with migrant rights in the United States. So we fight for the rights of Black migrants and African Americans through organizing, research and reports, legal advocacy, policy, narrative building, with the goal of improving the conditions of our communities by advancing racial justice and immigrant rights. I came to this road as someone who was born here. So I was born here, born in the United States. Born in the United States of parents from Ghana, like a Toyota made anywhere. I continue to hold on to my national origin, so I'm a Ghanaian through and through, and excited to be involved in this work that's looking at Blackness and immigration at the same time.
Okay, absolutely. That's wonderful. Let me come to you. Just a little bit about yourself and also the role you play in this organization.
Thank you for having us. My name is Abena. I am with BAJI. I work on our community support side, so working directly with migrants that are coming to the United States with navigating the legal and social networks in the United States. I migrated to the United States when I was a toddler. So I've had my fair share of going through the system and seeing the ways in which it tries to break you down. And I got into this work because I wanted to make sure that other people did not have the experiences that I had, and to really put a face to the movement. I know that when we think about immigration in the United States, oftentimes people don't think about Black folks having struggles with the system. And so really wanted to be the face of saying that, yes, Black people can be in the United States undocumented and have issues going through the system, and to also raise awareness of the intersections that we face as Black people in the United States, of having the compounding factors of going through immigration, going through criminal justice, the criminal justice system, and also just existing as Black people and what that means.
Okay. I hope I can just call you Nana, right?
Yes, of
okay.
course.
So you said you have been born all your life. You lived all your life in the United States.
My whole life, but I was definitely born there.
You were born there. Okay. But was there a time you came back to Ghana, or you traveled elsewhere for a bit?
So I always came back and forth to Ghana.
Okay.
So forever and ever. I'm old as dirt and twice as funky. And so for many decades now, I've been coming back and forth. But I lived in Côte d'Ivoire also for 4 years.
Oh.
So, of course, when I was in Côte d'Ivoire, then we would come to Ghana for big chunks of time. That's when I was a little girl, a young lass. We would come for big chunks of time. But yes, Ghana, when I talk about home when I'm in the United States, everyone knows me that I'm talking about Ghana.
Okay. I'm actually asking that because I want to move to the fact that with this organization, right, BAJI, I want to know if there is something personal that propelled you to be part of this organization. Did you have like a personal experience that you feel that, no, you should be part of this organization, you should bring up this organization to fight for the rights of migrants? Does something personal happen, or you just think that, no, the way they are treating the migrants is not right?
So I'll answer that two ways. Number one, for me, the political is personal and the personal is political. I am a Black power, revolutionary, internationalist, womanist person, right? So for me, it's important. I fight for Black liberation. And so, of course, the issues that relate to Black immigrants are also connected to Black liberation. And then I was born in the United States, but my parents weren't. My aunties and uncles weren't. I have some cousins who weren't. So I have personal experiences through my family, through friends of mine and what they have had to go through in this system in all the different ways, right? Whether they came as students, whether they came on family-based visa, whether they came in the diversity visa, also known as the lottery, some who had contact with the police, just walking while Black, driving while Black, that have now put them in the line sites, some who overstayed, right? So when you are living as a person, even if you're born in the United States, if you're a Black person that has has family that comes from outside, and particularly that comes from the continent of Africa, you are going to have the experience of fear of deportation, fear of detention, not being able to get access to benefits and to resources, issues with jobs, right? All of those things are things that you're going to have your family members, your friends experiencing, even if you're not experiencing it the same way.
Okay. So I guess I will be right to say that means that BAJI is a movement that everybody needs to be a part of. Right. Everybody needs to be a part of. All Black people need to be a part of, to be fighting this, whether it is personal to you because you have experienced some sort of racial discrimination or not. It could happen to another Black person. So I can say I'm right to say that it is a movement that everybody should be a part of, right?
Absolutely. We have African Americans in our organization, right? So it's the whole entire Black diaspora.
Everybody should be fighting for. Coming to you, Abena, I want to find out how difficult or easy it is for you as a Black person in the United States to get a job, to get yourself certain things that are just normal for every human to enjoy. How difficult or easy it is for you as a Black person, young Black lady.
I will start by saying that my experience may not look like the experiences of everyday Black people because there's a certain level of privilege that I have based on where I grew up, where I went to school, the people that I knew. And I will say, even though I spent 17 years of my life in the United States being undocumented, I still didn't have like the struggles that most people have. And the reason for that is where you grew up, who you know, what you have access to. And so my experience has been a little different. But the experiences of everyday Black people is quite difficult. I had, like I said, I went to the United States as a toddler, and you can tell from the way that I talk that it's really hard to tell that I'm an immigrant, right? Like, you know, even if I say my name, people are like, oh, that's such a cool name, you know, like they don't put two and two together. And so I've been able to sort of navigate the system in a different way than, let's say, my mom and my dad did, right? As visible immigrants, as people with accents, as people that didn't understand all the mannerisms of the United States, that didn't go to school in the United States, you know, from childhood. But I will say that it's quite difficult. It's difficult because people don't respect the knowledge that Black people bring into the work, right? One of the things that we fight for is for folks that have advanced degrees that migrate to the United States to be able to use those degrees. I'm talking about people who've practiced as doctors, as lawyers, as nurses, as engineers, as professionals. Their degrees are not respected in the United States. So you see some of these people doing low-wage jobs, working as cashiers, working as nursing aides. And so the United States is not this place that you can come and easily become a millionaire. There, as you know, people sit here and think that if I just leave Accra and I get to the United States, I'm going to have so much money and I'll be able to do all of these things. That is just not the reality of life in the United States.
Double your mic for you right now to amplify what you're saying. To amplify what you're saying, because, you know, we've gotten to an era right now, especially in Ghana, where a lot of the youth, all we want to do is leave the country. Right. All we want to do, and most of the youth, when you ask them, where do you want to go? Everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to go to America because the perception that most of us have here is that once you get to America, you'll be rich.
No, this is not the perception that Black people should have. I will say something that is a fact. You have a greater chance of getting a job as a white man with no college education and a criminal record than a Black man with a college education and no criminal record in the United States of America.
Absolutely correct.
This is as African Americans. You spoke earlier about the country being a country that depended on the blood, sweat, and tears of immigrants. Actually, The reason my parents wanted to go, the reason people here want to go, is because of the blood, sweat, and tears of African Americans who are our relatives for 400 years, right? They weren't African Americans then, they were us, right? They were Ghanaians, people from Angola, Nigeria, etc. But the point is that 400 years is what produced the situation. And those people who have put in 400 years are being told every day that they do not get first-class citizenship. So how are we who are coming from other countries thinking that we're going to jump over African Americans and somehow be in the land of white heaven? That's not how it's going to work.
Right.
We're not going to do any better than African Americans are. And so it's very important for us, people who are thinking of going, to really examine what are Black people, including African Americans, experiencing in the United States, and to assume that that is what we're also going to experience, which is why a place like BAJI exists, because you got to get it together. You got to get a good understanding of what you're jumping into, because you'll be going from the frying pan into the fire.
I think a lot of people need this knowledge. Yes, you were saying something.
I just want to also say that what people don't understand is when you get a visa to the United States, you are not allowed to work with that visa, right? And so even if you got a visa or, you got a green card to enter the United States, there are things that you have to go through and understand before you can just enter the workforce in the United States. And I think that a lot of people have misconceptions about that. And I will say that in the year of 2024, in the state for which I live, Minnesota, we just passed a law that says that employers cannot discriminate against you because of your hair. So I will say that a lot of Black women, especially when they go to job interviews, and I'm a person sitting here with locks. A lot of employers will pass over you because of your appearance. So many times like when I'm going to job interview, I'm very cautious of, maybe I should wear a bone straight wig so that I can look professional. Like I'm trying to, all the time you have to code switch and you have to understand like how to navigate the system and how to talk to people. And so I think that it's really important for people to understand that there are not just jobs waiting for you, that when you get there within a week or two, you're going to be able to just get to work. And there's requirements, like you need to have a driver's license. You need to have, certain criterion to be able to enter the workforce. And it doesn't take a week to get these things. First of all, as an adult, when you first have to pass a permit test, once you pass that, you've got to wait 3 months to be able to then sit for a road test. To be able to get a driver's license, you need to get a car, you need to get car insurance. There's all of these steps for which you need to take that people don't have a lot of context for. And people also have this mindset that, America is a country that you just get help. You don't just get help. You have everyday Americans on the streets.
On the sidewalk.
Right?
Where I live, Los Angeles County, Los Angeles, the city alone, has 60,000 unhoused people on the sidewalk. I just was there, when I was there recently, I was wearing this, and a brother walked up to me and he asked me in French, "Mother, do you have $1 for me?" Because he recognized my clothes. You know what I mean? I cried, Ethel, I cried. Do you recognize? And so I gave him more than $1. Do you know what I mean? But the point is that this is our people finding themselves in that condition, right, with African Americans and others. And so again, not to discourage people, because the right to migrate means you have a right to go. And you should have a right to go. But just for people to
all these before you even think of going, talking about undocumented migrants, documented and all that. So now we know that President-elect Donald Trump is in power, he has a policy that he's going to send all illegal undocumented migrants back to their country. So partly that involves him separating families, because if you are a family of 5 and then one person is undocumented and that person has to go, a family might choose that then we all go. So people are going to go back, they're going to leave their houses, everything they toiled for years, and they'll have to go and find themselves new feet and start afresh somewhere. So for BAJI and people that are in this organization and fighting for the rights of people like that, what do you think and make of this policy that he is about to introduce?
So I want to set a little bit of context, and I'm going to turn it over to Nana to elaborate a little bit more on the policy. I just want to say that the suppression of immigrants is not something that just started with Donald Trump. This is something that's been going on in the United States for a really, really long time. And the way for which people have been able to migrate has changed so much. And it's changed especially since 9/11 happened in the United States. You know, before, when people entered the US, they used to get assigned Social Security numbers. And now to get a Social Security number takes a really, really long time to get access to. And so I want to be clear that this is a trend that has been going on for so long and will continue to go on. And this is not something that's new. And while they are fighting people in the United States, they're also fighting people that are right here in Ghana through policies. And so it's very important to pay attention to the things that are happening in the United States and also the things that are happening here policy-wise that are impacting everyday Ghanaians. And so I'll turn it over to Nana to talk a little bit more deeper about the policy.